My name is Mama Adunni. My children, welcome, welcome. Draw near. The moon is full tonight, fat and silver like a fresh yam just pulled from the earth. The fire is warm and the night air carries whispers from the ancestors. But let me ask you something. Have you ever looked up at that great blazing eye of the day and then at the quiet, gentle eye of the night and wondered, why are they up there? Why don't they knock on our doors and ask for a bowl of soup? You think they've always been so far away? No. Once, long ago, in the time when stories were true and animals spoke with clearer tongues than men, the sun and the moon were just like us. They lived right here on the earth. And my tale tonight is the story of why they ran away and how water showed them that sometimes a friend's generosity can drown you. This is the story of why the sun and the moon live in the sky. Long, long ago, before the memory of the oldest tortoise in the market square, the sun and the moon were husband and wife. They lived in a fine mud hut with a thatched roof that Sun himself had woven from the strongest elephant grass. It was not a palace, but it was home. Sun was a large, round and boisterous man whose skin glowed with an orange-gold light that made the crops in the nearby fields grow tall and strong just from him passing by. He was very, very proud of his light. His wife, the moon, was different. She was slender and cool, with skin like polished cowrie shells that shimmered with a soft silver and blue glow. While Sun shouted his greetings across the valley, Moon would only smile gently, causing the night flowers to open their petals. Sun loved visitors more than anything. He would stand at the door of their hut, his arms wide, his laughter booming across the savannah. Come and see my beautiful home. Come and taste my wife's sweet cassava bread, he would bellow to the wind and the dust. But there was one friend Sun loved more than all the rest combined. That friend was Water. Now, Water was a magnificent being. He was not just a stream or a pond. He was the vast, deep, endless spirit of the ocean and the rivers combined. When Water moved, he stretched from horizon to horizon, shimmering with scales of 1,000,000 fish and the secrets of sunken lands. Sun admired Water greatly. "Ah, Water," Sun would say whenever he visited the edge of the land where water began. "You have the most beautiful house in all of creation. So much space, so many creatures living within you. I am ashamed of my little mud hut. You must come and visit me." And Water, with a voice that sounded like waves crashing on a distant reef, would rumble, "Ah, my friend Sun, I am too vast. Your house, it is lovely, but it is small." "Nonsense," Sun would roar, his light flaring with indignation. "I will build a bigger house. I will build a compound so grand, so enormous, that you and all your family can fit inside, with room to dance the Bata drum dance. Promise me you will come." Water, a sound that made the ground tremble slightly. "If you build it, my friend, if it is truly large enough, I will come." Sun rushed home, his light almost blinding the geckos on the walls. "Moon, my love, my cool silver jewel," he shouted. "We are building a new compound, the biggest compound the world has ever seen. My friend Water is coming to visit." Moon, who was weaving a mat of moonlight shadows, looked up slowly. Her voice was like the soft clink of glass beads. "Husband, Water is a very large guest. Are you sure? Of course I am sure. He is my dearest friend, and I gave my word. Sun puffed out his fiery chest. We must start tomorrow. And so they did. For 7 seasons, Sun and Moon labored. Sun, with his strong hands, molded the clay for new walls. He built a great courtyard, wide enough to hold the entire herd of the Fulani cattle. Moon, with her patient fingers, wove a roof so high that the eagles complained they were hitting their heads on the clouds. They built guest huts, storage huts, and a great entrance hall with pillars made of termite earth that Sun baked hard as iron with his own heat. Finally, the compound was finished. It was a marvel. The walls stretched so far that a man would need a whole day to walk around them. Sun stood in the center of the empty courtyard and turned his blazing face to the horizon. "Water, my friend!" he bellowed, his voice echoing off the far hills. "The house is ready. Come and see. Come and feast with me." She reaches for a small calabash and takes a sip of palm wine. The fire spits and sends a shower of orange sparks up into the dark branches of the mango tree. "Ah, my children, you see? Sun was so eager to impress, so eager to show off his wealth, that he forgot to use his head. He didn't ask water, 'Exactly how much of you is coming?' Pause for a moment. Think about the times you have promised something you couldn't truly give. Think about the water in your own life, the responsibilities that keep growing and growing. Are you building a house big enough to hold them? Or are you just building a trap for yourself? Share with me in the quiet of your heart. What is the biggest promise you've ever made? And did it, like the tide, eventually come back to cover you? Tell us in the comments of African Folktales by Moonlight. We want to hear your wisdom. And now, let us see what happens when water arrives, because he is on his way. The very next morning, the air grew heavy and smelled of salt and the deep green heart of the mangrove swamp. A distant rumble was heard, like the belly of a hungry giant. It was water moving across the land. First came water's outriders, the morning dew and the mist. They crept into the compound, cool and silent, settling on the broad leaves of the plantain trees and making the red earth of the courtyard dark and damp. Sun stood at the main gate, beaming with pride. "Enter, enter, my friends' messengers. Welcome to my home," he boomed. Then came the trickle. A silver snake of water slithered through the gate. This was water's first child, the little stream. It splashed playfully around the base of the pillars. "Is this the house?" gurgled the stream. "It is very nice." Moon, standing on the porch, felt a chill run down her spine. She was made of light and shadow. She did not like the wetness seeping into her fine woven mats. "Husband," she whispered, "perhaps this is enough." "Nonsense, woman," Sun laughed, his heat evaporating the mist into a humid haze. "That's only the greeting party. The real water is on his way." A louder roar came. Through the gate rushed the river. The river was broad-shouldered and powerful, carrying logs and rich black soil from the highlands. He filled the courtyard knee-deep in a matter of moments. The river laughed, a deep, rushing sound. "Ah, brother Sun, the compound is impressive, but my father is larger." Sun's smile faltered for just a heartbeat. The water was up to his waist now, and his fire had to burn a little hotter just to keep from hissing steam. He looked at the gate, which was now creaking and straining, and then water arrived. He did not walk through the gate. He became the gate. Water was a wall of blue and green and grey, towering higher than the tallest Iroko tree. He was deep, dark, and teeming with life. Giant catfish with whiskers like whips swam in his chest. Sea turtles glided lazily through his shoulders. And his voice was the sound of the entire world sinking. "My friend Sun," water boomed. The sound shook the clay bricks from the outer wall. "I have come to visit, but I must bring all my people. Is there room for the whales? Is there room for the crocodiles? Is there room for the sea serpents who sleep in the abyss?" Before Sun could even open his mouth to answer, water surged forward. It was not a flood, it was a migration. The sea moved into Sun's compound. A massive whale breached the wall as if it were made of sand. A shiver of sharks darted through what used to be the cooking hut. Jellyfish, glowing with their own eerie moonlight, drifted past Moon's terrified face. The water rose and rose and rose. It rose past the windows, past the rafters, past the very peak of the roof that Sun had built so high. Sun grabbed his wife, the moon. "Hold on to me," he shouted, his voice gurgling through the brine. He was burning hotter than he had ever burned, trying to boil the ocean away. But water just laughed and swallowed the steam. "You asked me to visit," water's voice echoed from every drop around them. "This is all of me." Sun and Moon were pushed up, up, up against the thatch of their own roof. Water was still pouring in. The compound was full. The sky above the compound was full. They had no more space. In desperation, Sun looked at the only place left to go, the dark, empty vastness above the clouds. "Hold tight, my love," Sun roared. With a mighty burst of his own blazing power, Sun shot upward like a fiery stone from a sling, dragging the moon with him. They burst through the surface of the water, which now covered the entire land. They flew past the eagles, past the clouds, past the very breath of the world. They did not stop until they reached the great, silent dome of the sky. They looked down. Below them, where their fine compound used to be, was nothing but a shimmering, endless blue. Water had moved in permanently. He covered almost everything. He had taken the earth for his own home. Stirring the embers with a stick, the red glow illuminates the faces of the listeners, wide-eyed and full of wonder. "My little ones, see the trouble of a boastful mouth. Sun built a house for a friend, but he built it on pride and not on sense. Water did not mean to be wicked. Water was just being water. You cannot tell the ocean to come as a teacup. So now, the sun and the moon are strangers in the high heavens. They are safe up there, but they are alone. They can never come back down to the earth to sit by the fire with us, because water is still here, waiting. Tell me, have you ever had a friend who took more than you offered? Have you ever felt like you were drowning in a situation you created with your own mouth? Let your fingers walk across the screen and share your story with the African Folktales by Moonlight family. We grow wiser when we share. But wait, the story is not yet over. What about Sun and Moon's house? Did water leave anything behind? Listen. Now, you might think the story ends there. The sun is in the sky, the moon is in the sky, and water covers the world. But there is a secret part of this story that only the grandmothers of the Efik-Ibibio people remember. It is the part about the sacrifice and the gift. When sun and moon fled, they left behind everything: their clay pots, their yam barn, their ivory bracelets, all swallowed by the deep. But there was one thing Sun cherished more than his own light: his golden stool of authority. It was carved from a single block of sacred wood and covered in gold leaf that Sun had made himself by concentrating his beams on the rocks for 1,000 years. It was the seat of his power as the king of the day. As they hung there in the cold, quiet sky, Moon wept. Her tears were cold, and they fell down to the earth. You see them sometimes. They are what we call shooting stars. "My husband," she whispered, her voice small and lonely against the vast darkness. "I am cold. I have lost my weaving. I have lost my garden. And you have lost your stool." Sun, for the first time in his eternal life, felt a chill that was not of the body, but of the spirit. He looked down at water's shimmering surface. He was angry. Oh, he was furious. He burned with a rage that turned the clouds around him blood red for a whole week. But anger, my children, does not fill an empty stomach or warm, cold feet. "You," Sun shouted down at water, "you have taken my home. You have taken my stool. You have shamed me before my wife." And from the depths of the ocean, water's voice came up, gentle now, like the tide pulling back from the sand. "My friend, I only accepted your invitation. I did not take your stool. It is still there, in the deepest part of my belly. But because you were a good host, and because I see you are lonely, I will make a trade." "A trade?" Sun scoffed, his rays piercing the water. "What can you give me from down there?" "I will give you back your color," water said. "Look at the sky. It is empty. It is black. It is nothing. But twice a day, at the edge of my body where I touch the land, I will give you a piece of my art. I will paint the sky with the colors of my coral reefs, the pink of my conch shells, the gold of my sand, and the deep purple of my deepest trenches." Sun was curious. "When?" "When you leave," water said, "and when you return. In the morning, I will splash the horizon with fire and rose, just to see you smile before you begin your journey. And in the evening, when you are tired and you go to rest behind the mountains, I will paint the sky with orange and violet to remind the world of your glory until the moon, your wife, takes her place." And so it was. That is why we have the magnificent sunrise and sunset. That is water's gift to his friend, the sun, a daily apology for the flood, and a reminder of the beauty that lies between the light and the dark. But what of the moon? Moon was still sad. She felt invisible next to her husband's great daily spectacle. She complained, "Husband, you get a painting every single day. The world cheers for you. They beat drums when you rise. But I just drift in the dark, silent and forgotten." Sun, who loved his wife more than the sunrise, thought hard. Then he looked down at water. "My friend," Sun called down, "you have given me the sunrise. But my wife, the moon, is lonely. She says no one looks at her." Water rumbled thoughtfully, causing a small tsunami far away. "Tell the moon to look at my surface when she is full and round," water said. I cannot paint the sky for her. The sky is black when she is out. But I will do something better. I will be her mirror. I will catch her silver light and throw it back to her. I will make a path of light on my waves just for her. And because I owe her for the mats she lost, I will push my tides in and out, following the pull of her heart. And that, my darlings, is the second secret. The moon does not know it, but she is the one who controls the tides. Water is dancing for her every single night, moving the great oceans back and forth just to show her that someone is watching. That someone sees her quiet, beautiful work. So now, when you see the sun setting in a blaze of orange glory, you know water is saying, "Good night, my friend, forgive me." And when you see the moonlight glistening on the river or the sea, like 1,000 silver coins scattered on the ground, you know water is saying, "See, Mother Moon, you are beautiful. I have kept a piece of your light down here to remember you." Her voice thick with the emotion of the tale. The children are utterly silent, staring at the moon reflected in the small clay pot of water at her feet. Do you see now? It is not a sad story of loss. It is a story of finding beauty in the distance. The sun and moon had to leave home to give us the sky. Water had to swallow the land to give us the tides and the sunsets. Look up tomorrow morning. Look up tomorrow night. Do not just look. See. See the apology of water in the colors of dawn. See the lonely dance of the moon reflected in the puddle after rain. This is the wisdom of our land. Now I ask you, and be honest with African Folktales by Moonlight, has this story changed the way you will look at the sky? If you have a little one beside you, do they see the sun and moon differently now? Tell us. Your words are the firewood that keeps this old woman's voice strong. But there is one last small thing, a tiny creeping thing that remembers this flood better than anyone. Shall I tell you what the tortoise has to say about all this? Ah, yes. You cannot tell a story in this land without Tortoise, Mbe, sticking his scaly nose into it. You know Tortoise, the cunning one with the cracked shell? Well, Tortoise was there that day. He was not in the house. Oh no. Tortoise is too clever to visit Sun during a hot afternoon. He was sleeping under a rock, upside down, with his legs in the air to catch the cool breeze. When water came, Tortoise was swept away. Whoosh! He tumbled in the flood, spinning like a seed pod in a whirlwind. He was carried higher than the trees, and he saw sun and moon shooting up into the sky like a reverse arrow. As he spun, his shell hit a sharp rock. Kapom! And that is where the cracks in his shell came from. They are not from a fall from the sky, as some stories say. They are from Sun's broken compound wall. When the waters finally calmed and Tortoise found himself stranded on a high hill, the only dry land left, he was furious. His beautiful, smooth shell was cracked in 27 places. His mother-in-law's cooking pot was gone. His stash of palm wine was at the bottom of the new ocean. He looked up at the sun, who was just a tiny ball of fire far away, and he shouted, "Sun, you big fool! Look at my shell. Look at my beautiful, smooth, enviable shell." Sun's voice drifted down, faint and hot. "Sorry, Tortoise. I was running from water." "Pfft, running from water," Tortoise spat. You invited him. You said, "Come, bring the whales, bring the crocodiles." And now look, you ran away and left me with a cracked back and a flooded house. Sun felt a pang of guilt. What do you want me to do, Tortoise? I cannot come down. Tortoise thought. That's what Tortoise does best. He thinks of ways to make situations benefit him. If I cannot have my smooth shell back, Tortoise said, then you must make these cracks a badge of honor. From now on, whenever any animal or human looks at my back, they must see the map of this event. And whenever I want to cross the new rivers you have made, the water must let me pass. Sun agreed, and Water, who felt slightly bad for the cranky little reptile, agreed too. That is why Tortoise can hold his breath underwater for so long. Water gave him that gift as an apology. And that is why the cracks on Tortoise's back are not just ugly lines. Look closely. The elders say the lines on a tortoise shell map the very path Sun and Moon took when they fled from earth to sky. But Tortoise, being Tortoise, got the last word. He sat on that hilltop and looked at the new vast ocean. He saw the first sunset, a breathtaking swirl of tangerine and indigo. And he said to no one in particular, "Chineke, see this fine show. Sun is up there sweating, Moon is up there shivering, and Water is down here doing art gallery for them. Me, I am here with a cracked shell. But at least I still have the solid ground under my belly. That is more than those two sky dwellers can say." And he waddled off to find a new stash of palm wine that wasn't ruined by salt water. She shakes her head slowly, admiring the cleverness of the trickster. Yay, Tortoise. Always the last word. He reminds us that even in a great cosmic story of sun and water and moon, there is a place for the small, clever creature on the ground. He lost his smooth shell, but he kept his wits. We all have our cracked shells, the scars from the floods of our lives. The question is not whether we are broken. The question is, do we let it make us bitter like the unripe mango, or clever like the tortoise? If you were Tortoise that day, what would you have said to Sun? Type it out. Let us laugh together in the comments of African Folktales by Moonlight. Let us see who can speak with the best tortoise tongue. And now, let me put this story to rest, the way a mother puts a child to sleep under the watchful eye of that very moon. So, my beloved ones, the fire has burned low, and the embers are turning to white ash. The moon, our mother moon, is high now. Look at her. She is not hiding. She is watching over us, just as she watches over her husband's back while he sleeps behind the mountains. Tomorrow morning, if you wake early enough, you will see Sun peeking over the edge of the world, looking down to make sure Water hasn't crept any higher. And Water will paint the sky a soft, forgiving pink and whisper, "All is well, my friend. I will stay in my place." And the day will begin again. But remember the lesson. It is not a lesson against friendship. Sun was right to love his friend. It is a lesson in measure. Know the size of your own home know the size of your own power, and know that some friends, like water, are too vast to fit inside walls made of clay. And more than that, remember this: when life pushes you out of your home, out of your comfort, up into the cold, dark sky, do not despair. Perhaps the world below needs your light from a new angle. Perhaps you were meant to be a sunrise, not just a neighbor. The sun and moon left the earth, and in leaving, they gave the earth the gift of the sky. Without that flood, we would be looking up at a black, empty dome. We would have no dawn to greet the farmer, no dusk to calm the hunter. So as you walk home tonight, guided by the silver of the moon, step lightly. You are walking on the roof of water's house, and up above, a husband and wife watch over you, missing the taste of cassava bread, but content in the knowledge that they are, finally, where they belong. Kachi 4. May the dawn break for you. The tale is told, the pot is empty, but the hunger for wisdom never ends. My throat is dry, but my heart is full because you listened. I am Mama Adunni, and this has been African Folktales by Moonlight. If this story warmed your spirit, like this fire warmed your toes, then do not let the circle break. There is a comment box below. It is our village square. Leave a word. Say, Mama, I will look at the sky differently. Or just say, tell us about the tortoise and the birds next week. When you speak, the ancestors hear you. They know their stories are still alive. And if your heart is beating with the rhythm of the talking drum, share this with someone who needs to hear the wisdom of water and the patience of moon. Until the next full moon, when I open my bag of stories again, walk in light, even when the path is dark. Good night, my children. Please, ask for more. I have 1,000 stories, and they are all for you. The moral of the story, as spoken by Mama Adunni. My children, listen to me now, not with your ears, with your spirit, because the story is finished. But the lesson is just beginning to breathe inside you. You came here tonight thinking you would learn why the sun and the moon are so far away, and now you know. They ran. They ran from a friend they loved, from a home they built with their own 2 hands, because they did not know how to say, this is enough. This is all I can hold. And isn't that the great wound of being human? We build our lives like sun builds that compound. We add rooms for other people's expectations. We raise walls to impress friends who never asked for a palace. We weave roofs so high that we cannot even see the sky anymore. We say yes, come, bring everything, bring all of you. And we forget to ask ourselves the most important question. Do I have space for this? Water was not wicked. Water was only being water. You cannot be angry at the ocean for being deep. You cannot blame the river for flowing. The fault, my darlings, was not in water's size. It was in sun's silence. Sun never said, my friend, I love you, but I can only hold a bucket of you, not the entire sea. How many of you are drowning right now? Not because the world is cruel, but because you never learned to say, this is my limit. This is my gate. You may enter, but only so far. Look at the sun and moon tonight. Look at them, hanging up there in the cold, beautiful darkness. They are safe, they are radiant, but they are also alone. They cannot sit by our fires. They cannot taste the sweet cassava bread of the earth. They cannot feel the warm hand of a neighbor on their shoulder. They traded community for survival because they did not know how to set a boundary with love. That is the first tear on the moon's face. Not water, not sorrow for a lost hut. It is the grief of realizing that sometimes we push away the very things we need, simply because we cannot find the words to say, I see you, I honor you, but you cannot have all of me. And Tortoise, Tortoise with his cracked shell, he lost everything too. His smooth back, his pride, his mother-in-law's cooking pot. But Tortoise did not fly to the sky. Tortoise stayed. He sat on that hill, looked at the mess and said, well, I am cracked, but I am still here, and this ground is still under my belly. That is the second lesson. When the flood comes, and believe me, my children, the flood always comes, you have two choices. You can run to the sky and become a distant, lonely light. Or you can plant your feet on whatever dry ground remains, look at the cracks in your shell, and decide that those cracks are not your shame. They are your map. They tell the story of what you survived. Sun and moon gave us the sky, and for that we are grateful. But Tortoise gave us the earth. Tortoise gave us the stubborn, sacred, cracked and beautiful courage to stay. So tomorrow morning, when you wake and see that golden light spilling over the horizon, do not just admire it, thank it. Thank the sun for his sacrifice. And tomorrow night, when the moon casts her silver path across the water, whisper to her, I see you, you are not forgotten. But in between, in the daylight hours when you are building your own compounds and inviting your own waters, remember that love does not require you to drown. Friendship does not require you to disappear. You can open your gate and still keep your foundation. You can welcome the ocean and still protect your hearth. The greatest gift you can give the world is not your exhaustion. It is not your empty, flooded home. It is the warm, steady, present light of someone who knows where their sky ends and their earth begins. She places both hands over her heart and bows her head slightly. Kachifo, may the dawn break for you, and may you have the wisdom of water, the courage of Tortoise, and the light of the sun and moon. Not too far away to touch, but right here, inside you, where it has always belonged. This has been African Folktales by Moonlight. Carry the story with you, and please, ask for more. There is so much more to tell.